Fake news, Ingrit Tota.
The title of my speech is Fake News, but I'm going to disappoint you right away. And I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to be talking about the kind of fake news that you've all been hearing about these days. I'm going to be talking about something much more simple and relatable. Dear guests, Toastmasters, and fellow members, I'm going to talk about myself. You may have noticed by now that I have an accent, which is a good indicator that I am not from around here. I'm from a far, far away land called Albania, and people don't always know this, so they always come to me and say, where is that cute accent from? And as much as I like being called cute, or at least have my accent be called cute, because I'll take that too, I know by now that when I tell you guys that I am an international student here in the United States, a lot of assumptions are floating in your minds, some of which are not quite true. So today I'll try to briefly debunk some of these assumptions and fake news that exist about international students in the United States, starting with the most evident one, my own accent. Just because you look like me, kind of tall, and have this kind of accent, and maybe are paler than you should be, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are Russian. It is unbelievable how many people have come to me and asked me, where are you from in Russian? Do you speak Russian? Some of them just come and talk Russian to me. And I find it funny and scary. I find it funny because I looked it up, and there are 195 countries, at least, in the world. And why would people assume I am Russian? Now, let's put this into perspective. If you guys over there are Russians drinking vodka, and you guys over here are America eating hamburgers, do you know where Albania is? It's this small water glass right here. It is a small country with only a few people, but we have a rich culture, history, language that we are proud of. And when people call me Russian, I feel like they're undermining where I'm from and my origin. However, last year, things did get scary. People went too far and correlated my major in college, which is computer science, with my current job, software engineer, with the election, and assumed that I hacked into your 2016 presidential election. It does get very scary, and believe me, if I had anything to do with it, the outcome of the election would have been different from what you got. Now, having said that, I'm going to move to the second assumption that people generally make, and it has to do with my vocabulary and every international student's vocabulary. While it is true that we do speak a lot of languages and we understand people, we do not know everything and anything there is to know about the languages that we speak. For example, when I first came to America, I was a very young international exchange student living with my host family in Duluth. And while we were trying to get comfortable to each other and get to know each other at the dinner table, we were making small talk about how our weekends were going. My host dad was here, my host mom was here, and I was here in the middle trying to cut my steak and be nice. And my host mom goes, how was your weekend? And I'm like, good, how about yours? And she said, oh, I had a great time with my girlfriends this weekend. And I stepped back, and I'm like, well, I'm not very good at English, but I know what the word girlfriend means, because for starters, I don't have one. And if I did, I would know. And here I was living with an American family. The husband is sitting right across the wife at the table, and he's totally cool with his wife having girlfriends, more than one. And they just came back after they have had a lot of fun together this weekend. So I quickly went to Skype, and I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm very progressive and open-minded, but this is kind of too fast forward for me, too. Later on, I was told that in the United States of America, a girl can call another girl girlfriend. And in the same conversation, I was told to never, ever call my guy friends boyfriends. If I didn't want to get in trouble. So I stopped doing that. I grew up and I started learning how to survive in America. I found a job when I was in college. Little did I know, until the end of my first summer here, that I had been swearing and cursing at my favorite customers of different ages and beliefs while working at a coffee shop. See, in the Bible, there is this word, heaven and then hell, And to me, hell is just this hot, flamey place where bad people go. And I didn't know that if it is used in a 3-word expression, aka what the hell, it could be a curse. So my manager told me at the end of the summer that I had been cursing at my favorite customers, telling them, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, Jim. What the hell is wrong with you? Or to little kids who didn't want to get whipped cream on the top of their drinks. Why is that? What the hell is wrong with you, John? That business did lose a lot of money because of me that summer. But what I want you to take from this is that if you deal with international students and if you feel like the conversation is not flowing as it should, just pull them aside. They'll be more than appreciative for you to tell them what words mean because we're here to learn. Our vocabulary in the United States of America is very academic-oriented. We can give speeches, we can write papers, we do research. But when it comes to social skills, especially when we first land in the land of the free, we suck. And last but not the least, my favorite myth of them all is that if you have one of these, a Minnesota driver's license, you can very easily become a citizen of the United States. You can go vote. And that is not true. I have gone through a lot of immigration struggles throughout the years, trying to maintain my legal status here. And many friends who love me dearly and want me to stick around have come and said, why don't you go to the DMV and apply for citizenship? I'll drive you there. I'll pay the fees. This is not how it works. To stay here and to be legal, even to just study, we have to be very careful. We have to be very legal because one strike and we're out. One of my favorite friends came to me and he's like, why don't you just get married? But then 5 seconds later, she's like, no, that's a lot of work. Don't do it. So I'm still maintaining my student status. When I was preparing for this speech, I did have a lot of other things that came to my mind, but the time is limited, and I want to help many more students and people who deal with international students. So help me in publishing and writing my upcoming book, The Truth and Lies About International Students in the United States. Mr. Toastmaster.